making a beat with no noise. I'm making a beat with no noise. It sounds pretty good. You listen to the end and then you hear the beat and then yeah. Mm. Today we make a beat with no noise. Well, without hearing anything. Alright. Let's do some stuff. Alright, to do this, you're gonna want to be pretty familiar with all of your sounds, but I'm gonna try to use some stuff that I don't maybe like remember. Alright, first I got a key. G sharp minor. Let's get BPM like 80-ish, 85. I'm kind of just look at the waveform. I wonder if you can hear that. We'll see how this thing turns out. I want to try this. I'm gonna try to do a lot of layers and see what we end up with. Come up with the chord progression. Start on the 1 maybe. Let's do just a minor chord. 1. I could do 1 4 5 or something. I like the 1 6 personally. Let's make these kind of interesting, or try to. Something like, I don't want to raise the 5th, but I don't know. Maybe 5 at the end, kind of resolve it. Gotta do some sort of interesting chords here. Hopefully that's not too, it shouldn't be too dissonant. Kind of like this waveform right here. We'll try something like this. Velocity a little bit, not too much because I don't know what I'm working with. Now, like I said, you want to be pretty familiar with your kids. I know this one's got all solid sounds, like nothing too out of the ordinary. But a lot of my kits, I like to go for experimental stuff, and I like weird sounds. But right now, I'm going to kind of play it safe a little bit. Just get like that bass line, a little bit of texture or layers to it. Melody is a little bit harder for me because, I mean, it's a little bit more difficult to imagine what's going to sound like. I don't like to start my melodies on the 1. I've noticed that. I mean, music is subjective or whatever, but I've noticed coming in.
But whatever, you know, sometimes you just gotta make some garbage. And that's the way it is. I'm gonna try to pull a few different kicks, because there might be a hi-hat layered in. That might sound interesting. And I don't want to use the same one shot for all my kicks. That would just be kind of boring, personally, I think. Even though, when it comes down to it, most people aren't going to notice something like that if it's the same one shot. But I will. Now this is where it gets interesting, because I have no idea what this is. It could mesh amazing. It could be hot garbage. You'll notice that I didn't do my bass with my melody up here. I do the bass after I add the kick pattern, because the kick pattern and the bass pattern should be going together, at least in my head. Now you can make music however you want, but the bass and the kick, when they come together and they stop together, it feels like you're making some real music. Now this, I might want to reverse this. It might be a cool sound. I know it's not the same sound, because when you reverse something in FL, it acts all funny. It doesn't want to reverse just this, but I'm gonna keep this just for the randomness of it all. Now the hi-hats. I know Kenny Beats got some fire hi-hats. It's not like he invented them, but I really like his stuff, so I can trust these. I'll just put them up 2 and 4, and we'll call it good. Because when the melody's super psychedelic, it's hard to get that. It's hard to get a unique drum pattern to sound good with it, when you got a really unique melody line going on. Now this isn't the craziest thing, but I have no idea what it sounds like melody-wise, so it might be crazy. I'm just try to keep it simple a little bit. I mean, the waveform also gives it away. I'm gonna layer it with this right here. Kind of give a snare a unique feel when you layer it with a perk, depending on what it sounds like. Now I got this fill in here still. I'm gonna put this at the end over here. I feel like it's not 100% on beat, but it'll feel like it's close enough. Your ear's not really gonna be able to tell, at least in my head. It doesn't look too far off from the sound, from the waveform of it. Alright, let's get this out of the way since we know what we're working with over here. I want to pull one more sound from this. This looks like a lower frequency, so maybe it's a little bit of texture. Maybe it's something I can layer with a kick, something like that. Or maybe I use it in place of a kick, where a kick potentially could have been. Alright, let's get these snares where they need to go. Alright, I'm just putting the hi-hats in pretty much on beat. Then I'm gonna copy them over. That'd be alright right there. We'll call that chillin' right there. I'm assuming that this is kind of like an open hat right here, so I do want to leave this at the end and maybe put it before a snare. Some spots, maybe every other one. Something like that. Might sound good, this right here. Alright, let's get this bass going. Bass I keep super simple most of the time. I'm not great with bass. I'm great at keeping it simple, because I'm a little bit scared of that low end, personally. Just shows where I need to improve myself. But now I know some of these I like in here. I like these ones. I just need to make sure that they're in tune. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Set up my MIDI real quick so I can play these notes. Not that I have this. This is the bass pattern. I'm gonna throw it into here, and then I can go like this. I can make some cuts for when the kick, and so it can be played with the kick and all that. Just a little stop right there. I'll put it right there actually. It's also good to do stops for the snare. And we'll call that good.
see how it sounds. Congratulations if you made it to the end of the video. You got the attention span of a 95-year-old woman from the Victorian era who's never seen a computer, and it's just actually it's just focusing on all the lights and the colors and the sounds and has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. This is the most fucking boring video on the goddamn planet.